Hey guys, welcome back to another FPL stream. You might notice I don't have Olivia because it's not a double game week in terms of FPL, but it's a double game week in terms of we have two games to cover this week. So I have invited Nymfria. Did I pronounce your name right? I hope I
Yeah,
pronounced
that's
it
it.
right. Yeah. On my channel. We met actually on Matisse's channel
You did.
back in the
Yeah.
summer, and so I've been meaning to get you on, and I finally have you on. Thanks so much for
Yay.
joining. How's it
Thanks for
going?
having me. Yeah, everything's good. Thank you very much. Excited to be on.
So we haven't talked like about our FBL team in a while. Mine has been quite dire. I'm so upset. If you guys don't know, I literally transferred out Gallagher because I was like, he's blanks in 4 games. He's playing in a different position. Crystal Palace haven't been playing well. I'm taking him out. And he went on and scored 2 goals, and I just transferred him right back in. And I felt like an idiot. But I was like, I literally put so much trust into this guy, and he goes and punishes me when I transfer him out. So I guess I deserved it. But how is your game week? How have you been doing?
Yeah, I've kind of been okay this season. It's been a fairly decent start for me, really. I tend to start really poorly and then finish quite well. But this season, I've kind of been around 100 to 200,000 in the ranks, which is like, fairly decent for this point in the
Yeah.
season. I'm on about 1,022 points at the moment, so going fairly decently for now, I think.
That's so good. I don't know how I can check my points. Let me see if I'm at like 600k. Like I'm doing terribly.
The thing is,
Um,
the overall rankings are still so squidgy though. Like really, I mean, it feels like 10 points can move you up a couple of 100k and drop you a couple of 100k. So I
yeah.
think, yeah, you're okay at the moment at 600k. It's nothing dire there yet. I mean, I thought when you said it was awful, I thought you were going to say a couple of million.
No, I mean, it's just like the fact that like things with Conor Gallagher, like I had benched him versus City because I was like, no way are Palace getting anything versus
Yeah.
City. And then he went and got something. I brought Alonso in because Chelsea were keeping clean sheets, and I was like, oh, I want to double up on Chelsea. And he has not kept a clean sheet
I
since
did
that
the same.
point.
I did the same.
So
I got James in on the double up. So I had Rudiger for ages and Chilwell. And then when Chilwell got injured, I went over to James. And since I've had James, I've had like 1 point out of him in three games.
it's just so dire, and he was
I
scoring
know.
and
What
getting
happened to
assists
him? Like you
and
tell me, he
keeping
was so
clean
good.
sheets. The thing that happened, for anybody that isn't like a diehard Chelsea fan, well, Ben Chilwell obviously got injured, but that has had just mass effect on the total
Yeah.
defense. A really crazy stat is since Ben Chilwell got injured versus Juventus, Chelsea have conceded 10 goals in 5 Premier League games. So about 2 goals a game on average, which is crazy because we weren't conceding any goals. It was hard
No.
to get through. And now it's been a while since we've seen a clean sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Marcus Alonso playing means that Rudiger has to provide more defensive coverage. There's more gaps. Alonso can't track back. So Chelsea's defense is struggling. And on top of that, N'Golo Kante's out, Kovacic is out, Jorginho was out and has been playing through injury. So it's just overall a pretty crappy situation for Chelsea
Yeah.
right now. Injury stricken.
Mm.
But I do want to look at the fixtures. So, of course, Liverpool play Newcastle, City play Leeds, both pretty interesting fixtures. Who do you have from those teams?
So I sold Rafinha a couple of game weeks ago, just about the time when he started scoring again. So a bit like you with, with Gallagher. But I have Cancelo from City, who is not going to be playing this week because he's picked up 5 yellow cards. So he's now suspended for that Leeds match, which has given me a bit of a headache. But I got Bernardo Silva last game week, and I've had Phil Foden for longer than I should have done this season. Um, so I picked him up a couple of game weeks, then he got injured, and I was like, because there's been no like real definite, oh, he's out, he's back, he's out, he's back. I've played him almost every week through all of this pep roulette. And yeah, I think I've got like 1 assist since I've owned him, but I'm just kind of holding on to that moment where he comes back and he just has that monster game. So I'm hoping Leeds is it.
It's one of those things where it's like you don't want to sell because you feel like they could come good. And it's
Yeah,
like, I don't want to potentially miss out on the boat after you've been holding them for so long. I
yeah,
also have Bernardo. I also have Cancelo. I have Salah and Jota. I
yeah,
missed out on
same.
Jota.
Yeah, Jota's
Um,
been another one. Like literally glutton for punishment I am with both Foden and Jota, who are just rotation risk nightmares. But it's the upside with both of them, isn't it? They're both such exciting players, and when they do play, you just can you can see, you can sense the goals that can come from them, and you just as an FPL manager, that's so exciting. You'd rather that than a player that just is doing nothing, because that's really frustrating. You sat there watching and you just want points and all they're doing is like, passing the ball back or something. But with Jota or Foden, every single match, it just looks like they get the right pass and
yeah.
and they could get you loads of points.
Definitely. And I asked you to prepare a buy and a sell for this week.
Yeah.
I was going to have a graphic, guys, but I've literally been working since 5 a.m. It's now 3 p.m. I have not had a break. So I
Oh, bless
didn't get
you.
a chance to make the graphics. I'm so sorry. Maybe like once it's like calms down a bit in the new year, I'll be able to add graphics because I think it could look super cool. But for now, we're just gonna be chatting because I didn't have a chance. But who's like one player that you say I must have this player, you guys must buy him, and one player that you're like, now you have to get him out of your team right now?
So it's probably not what you're going to want to hear, but my buy this week was Gallagher. 6.1 million, 6 goals and 5 assists this season. Game week 12 was his last return, but after this game week and game week 16, his confidence will be well up, and he has Southampton, Watford, and Norwich in the next 3 out of 4, I think, and the fourth fixture being Spurs. So you could see that going either way. Last game week, he had 7 shots, 4 in the box, 3 on target, and 3 attempted assists against Everton. Yeah, he's just a kind of, at that price, he's a
I
bit of a
know.
must own.
Oh, I can't believe that I sold him and got punished because I've literally had him since almost the beginning of
Who
the
did you sell
game.
him for?
I brought in Bowen.
Okay, so I
um
don't think that's a terrible shout, because actually this game week, my kind of options are to roll a transfer, or I actually have 4.4 million in the bank. So I'm kind of rolling in a bit of cash at the moment.
oh my
So
gosh.
I was thinking of upgrading Gilmore potentially to Bowen, Gallagher, or Gray in that spot, and having a 5 midfield.
Yeah,
So,
that's what I went. So that kind of leads me into my buy. I took a
mhm.
Menacee. I'm so like I literally couldn't be asked. I was
I I
so
love I
mad.
love that I love bat shizzle, and minus a is bat shizzle to me.
It's
So
yeah, I went crazy.
okay.
And I should have just not made the transfer last week and kept Gallagher and then made my transfer, whatever. But I transferred Gallagher back in, and I actually transferred Mason Mount into my team, who is somebody that I wanted. 6 goals, 5 assists so far this season, which are incredible numbers considering he's been out for a large majority of the season,
Yeah.
and 3 goals and 2 assists in his last 3 games.
Mhm.
And I don't know what price he's at, but let me check. He's at 7.6. So maybe not like as cheap as a Gallagher. I do have both of them, but I also went for a 5-man midfield. So right now my midfield is Salah, Bernardo, Gallagher, Jota, and Mount. And I was very happy with that because I feel like there are no attackers that are being super, super consistent. Maybe Dennis from
Mm.
Watford. But
Yeah.
other than that, like the really pricey attackers. Like I've had Vardy forever since he was scoring a ton, and then I brought him in, and he stopped scoring as soon as I brought him in.
Ah. Well, he's my
Lukaku is the
sell this
same.
week.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
let's go into your sell. Yeah.
So, as you said, despite being second top forward on 77 points, he has had limited minutes against Villa and didn't play against Newcastle. With Spurs, Everton, Man City, and Liverpool in the next four, and maybe missing out midweek if Spurs are unable to honour their fixture again during the week. He's a lot of money at 10.6 million to have sat on your bench and being risk of rotation. So I think if you have Jamie Vardy, I would be consider selling him on.
Yeah, I had held on to him because I didn't know who to replace him with.
I mean,
I
the
think
fixtures look great for Leicester. They looked
yeah,
great, and Vardy had been doing really well. So I don't blame you for. Sometimes we can be too hot-headed, I think, with FPL and react too quickly. In
don't call me.
just for
Like
say,
I just couldn't be
Gallagher
asked.
back
I was
in.
like,
Uh,
oh God.
but I think like sometimes it's fine if you know you've made a mistake in a player and you want them back. Then I think that's when it's justified. But sometimes also we can be very guilty of just jumping on the next bandwagon. And I think you did the right thing in holding on to Vardy as long as you had, because although it hasn't paid off, if he had have come good again in those fixtures, you
Yeah.
really would have regretted it. So
Exactly. So now I feel I did end up selling him this week, but I feel that I held him to a point where I
yeah.
was like, I really, after he got benched as well,
Hmm.
I had Marcus Alonso on my bench, so he came back and gave me 4 points.
No,
Um,
nice.
but I felt that it got to points where I was just like, I can't justify this anymore.
I'm
Yeah,
Vardy.
so we both agree on the sell. I'm a little bit out of breath. Sorry, guys. I had to run and go get my charger. So if you notice like a weird gap, that's why. I can edit it out as best as possible. But I like literally ran down the stairs and ran up the stairs to get my charger. Um, my sell was Alonso. If you guys still have him, I haven't been able to sell him yet, but I want to get him out of my team. Right now he's just 10% owned, so not super high owned. But even like any Chelsea defensive asset, like I'm really worried about at this point. So I'm thinking about bringing in maybe like a Spurs asset because
Ooh,
they've been like keeping a lot of clean sheets under Conte. I don't know how it's going to be after their outbreak.
yeah.
So I'm keeping an eye on that. But I really, right now, I have a Chelsea double up, and I 1,000% don't want a Chelsea double up right now. And it's very
I
unfortunate.
feel you,
So,
but I have too many other fires to put out right now.
yeah, there's just too many. So, yeah,
Maybe
that's the
look at an
situation.
Aston Villa defender. So Cash seems to be one that people are paying a lot of attention to at the moment. So, that could be
Interesting.
somebody to look at out
Mhm.
there.
I'm gonna try to pull up their stats. Um, oh, just a five. So, guys, 5 million, just 3.6% owned. And his, I think, one clean sheet in the last five. But I do think that Villa have better fixtures coming up. Let me just take a look.
Yeah, I think it's
Norwich,
yeah, it's a bit of a run of some. I think it's like that thought
Burnley, yeah.
process of, yeah, there's better fixtures to come sort of thing.
Yeah, they have Norwich, Burnley, then they play Chelsea, but you never know with Chelsea. And then Leeds, that could go either way as well. Brentford, so they do have quite favorable fixtures. I do think that they've looked like quite strong under Gerrard as
Yeah.
well. So that could be an interesting one. Looking at like captain choices, like I feel silly even asking this because I feel like most people are just captaining Salah week over week, like just rolling the captain's armband. There's not so much to think about,
Yeah.
but who's your captain going to be? And if you had to pick like a differential captain that maybe you want to try to make up some ground, who would that be?
So perma captain is Salah at the moment, as you said, and I really wouldn't advocate going outside of that at the moment. He's so highly owned and so highly captained that if he does anything, it doesn't help you when he does anything, but at the same time, it will really hurt your rank if you don't captain him. So
Yeah.
I really feel like you kind of have to. I think next game week there may be some people looking more outside of Salah. You know, he has Tottenham. I don't think that he can't score against Tottenham, but I think with the African Cup of Nations coming up and stuff around
Mhm.
that happening, I think a lot of people will be thinking about whether or not he gets rested, when he'll be leaving, all of that sort of stuff. So next game week, you know, may be our last opportunity to captain him, or may not even be an opportunity to captain him, in which case I think people will look outside of Salah, you know, from next game week onwards. But this game week especially, I think he is just stick, try not to think too much about it. But if you are bat shizzle and you like somebody different, I would look maybe to Bernardo Silva.
Mhm.
Obviously, there's Ronaldo as well, but I have heard some rumours today that United have shut down their training grounds because of COVID.
Yep.
So there's some talks that the United Brentford game might get called off. So you probably don't want to be putting your captaincy there unless you've got a good vice captain. So yeah, I'd probably look towards one of the City lads.
Yeah, I think Bernardo Silva is a fantastic choice. If I'm going to provide you guys with something different, somebody who I've actually been thinking about a lot, and I just don't have the balls to put my confidence on anybody but Salah, is Trent Alexander-Arnold. He has
Mm,
108 points so far this season, but just looking at his last 5 games, he has 9 points, 2, 9, 15. And then if I throw in on that, then if I go
it's
even
been
further back,
amazing.
12, 1, and 10. So he's
So
also
good.
another one who I
Yeah.
feel like he just returns every week. Liverpool are keeping clean sheets as well. And he's usually guaranteed to get bonus points or an assist. So maybe when Salah isn't playing, when he's at the African AFCON, um, I think I might go for Trent. I don't know. TBD. It will be Trent or Bernardo Silva. But
Yeah,
one of
I
the
think
two, I think.
like it's weird for me. I'm not a fan of captain and defenders. I don't know why. Like people have done it with major success, but I don't know why I always just
I've
tend
never
to go
captained
for
a
an
defender,
attacker.
but
Yeah, I don't think I have ever either.
because I just feel like the risk is so high if they don't keep a
Mm,
clean sheet. But if
yeah,
they do and they get any bonus or any
I
assists or
know.
it could be absolutely brilliant. So I don't know, maybe one week I'll just try it out if they have like a very favorable fixture to see how it goes. But do you have any differentials in your team? Because I'm looking at my team. I don't think I have like Ollie Watkins was like more of a differential. Now he's at 7% ownership, but other
Yeah.
than that, I don't think I have like any differentials in my team. Mount is at almost 20%.
Well, I got
Alonso is at 10%.
De Gea in last week for Sanchez,
Oh
so
wow.
he's a bit of a differential, and he got me 10 points, which is nice. But obviously, not great hearing that United news, because I may have just come off of losing one keeper because of COVID into another one for
Oh
the
my
game week.
god.
I think if that's the case, I'm not selling a goalkeeper again. I will just go without this week. But when you see them get like 10 points like De Gea did last week, I mean, you know, it's really tough to feel like you know, you don't need to make that transfer. But yeah, I think other than Foden, really, and this week, maybe if I go for Bowen or Gray, they'll probably most likely be my differentials, because for some reason I'm still holding on to Antonio and have done since the beginning of the season. I think it's this nice run of fixtures coming up for West Ham, and just hope, really, that they're the only two reasons why I still have him in my team. Um,
Yeah.
but with the prices the way they are, I'm kind of hoping that he does start performing, because if I do move my money into midfield, it is then going to mean another transfer for me if I want to switch Antonio to somebody like Ronaldo up front. But I got Dennis last game week. So I did 3 transfers last game week. I had 2 free
Yeah.
transfers and then I took a -4 and I sold Sanchez, Sonny and Tony, and I bought De Gea,
Okay.
Bernardo and Dennis. So it was a 25-point swing, so 21 points with the -4. So hits can work out. They
It's
can be
crazy.
okay.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. Yeah,
Yeah.
I really hope that mine works out. I was just like, I can't be asked with this. Like, I'm just knee-jerk
Sometimes
reaction.
you gotta
I
go
don't
for it.
recommend it, guys. I don't recommend it. I shouldn't have done it.
It's not fun and it's
But
not clever.
yeah, no.
But sometimes it
I
can be
think
a
like
lot of
next
fun.
week I'm just gonna roll my transfer, like no matter what happens. Well,
Mm.
that's not true. I really want to get Alonso out. So I don't know. I might just use it on him, but I really haven't decided yet.
It's great
Um,
when these game weeks are on top of each other, because it feels like making transfers is just so much easier, or rolling a transfer is just so
yeah.
much easier, because you're like, I've only got to make it till the weekend. I've only
Yeah,
got to make it
exactly.
till
And
the weekend.
you have less time to wait and you're like, okay, I can fix
Yeah.
this quicker. But
Yeah.
yeah, I hope that I can come back, guys. Hopefully my team.
You
I feel
will.
like I might have missed the Mount train as well, but I was just like, he's been too good.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, you're Chelsea, and he looks fantastic at the moment. He's in form, so even if you only get like another game week or 2 out of him, then it's something, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, so I don't know. Knowing my luck, I'm gonna have cursed him for the rest of the season, but I sure hope not. It's like always the way. But Nim, thanks so much for joining. I do want to keep
Oh,
this to like bite size. I tried to make them more bite sized so that people can just pick up and watch them whenever they want, and so that's not too intimidating when they go on to listen as well. But thanks so much for joining me. All of your insight has been so
oh,
valuable.
thank
Let
you for
everybody know
having
where they
me.
can find you.
Yes, I'm at FPL Nim on Twitter and FPL Nymfria on YouTube.
Nice. So, guys, make sure to subscribe to her channel and
Mm.
follow her on Twitter. It's a busy season for content creators. December is like
Yeah.
literally so busy. As you know, I've done 3 streams today. Um, so it's just a hard time for us. So it
Mm.
would be super nice to spread holiday cheer and support us. But guys, thank you so much for joining. I hope that you like this stream. Hopefully you have a great rest of your day. And until next time,